Hello everyone and welcome, my name's Ali A and this is a new best class setup video where I show you guys my favourite setups for various guns within multiplayer for Black Ops 2. If you haven't seen the previous episode where I covered the MSMC or any of the other videos on screen, you can click on those to check those out as well. But the M27 is one of my favourite assault rifles within Black Ops 2. It has very little recoil, even at some of the longer distances that you're going to be shooting enemies on the larger maps. You don't really have to tap fire, you can go fully auto and still expect to kill a player without having to tap fire and make sure that you're being super accurate just because of how low the recoil is. One of the biggest disadvantages about the M27 is the fact that it uses so much ammo, and that's why I'll go into more depth about why I'm using scavenger and perks like that. But first of all, before I get into an in-depth look at the actual class itself, the score streaks I'm using are the stealth chopper, the orbital VSAT and the escort drone. I've covered this setup in a specific video before, saying that it's one of my favourites, if not my favourite score streak setup within Black Ops 2, so that's why I'm using those. But jumping into the perks loadout for this gun, I'm not using a perk 3, but just because it's very specific in terms of you won't always need it. For example, tactical mask, if you're not coming up against an enemy that has stuns or shock charges, it's never going to come into play. Awareness, if you're not using a headset, it's not going to be very useful at all. However, the perk 1s and the perk 2s are going to be taken into effect almost every time you're shooting or every time you're in a gunfight. That's why they're very useful, and I'm using 2 of both perk 1s and perk 2. So perk 1, hardline, knocks off 20% of the score needed to get that score streak, and since I like to rock some of the higher score streaks, that really helps me get to my VSAT and escort drone as quickly as possible, which is awesome. And I'm using Ghost as well because this is very much a stealthy class. I like to rock around the edges of the map, because I can shoot people at such long distances. It means I can pick people off that are always in the middle, or also travelling around the edges like I am, and it's a sort of stealthy class, and that's the way I like to use this class, and it works really well. For perk 2, again, I've got 2. Scavenger, as I said, helps to make up for the worst part of this class, which is the fact that it uses up a lot of ammo, and since this gun is so good, if you don't have Scavenger on it, you're going to end up picking up another gun off the floor, which could be any gun. You want to be sticking with this M27, so having Scavenger also means I can replenish my C4s and make sure I'm never losing out on ammo as well. And I'm also using toughness because I use toughness on every single one of my classes within Black Ops 2, and that's because it comes into effect every time you're in a gunfight, every time you're shooting at someone that's shooting back. It's going to mean that you're not going to get quite as much visual kick on screen. It's going to make it easier to kill the target that you're aiming at, and is very useful indeed. Now I'm using the C4 as my lethal, which means I'm getting one of the C4s back every time I pick up a scavenger pack, and this would be the case for the tacticals as well if I was using something like concussion, but I don't have enough points to go and spend it on a concussion grenade, so I've left that alone, along with my sidearm. I don't have a sidearm either. I'm going to be sticking with the M27 as much as possible, as I said, with the scavenger pack, and making sure I've always got ammo. So that is my favourite class setup for the M27. Go and give it a go and let me know how well you do with it. Post some scores in the comment section of this video, or if you have any slight variations, perhaps you have a more preferable M27 class setup, then feel free to share that as well. It's open to discussion, of course, as well. But we're coming up to the end of the game here. I still had a escort drone and a stealth chopper to call in, unfortunately, because I was cycling through them so quickly I couldn't quite get them in because the airspace was full. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you've done so, click that like button. I always appreciate it when you guys do that. If you haven't seen any of the videos on screen, click on them to check them out, and also make sure you follow me on both Twitter and Facebook. All of you guys that are following me on there are going to get up-to-date news on when I'm posting videos, what's going on outside of YouTube, and all of that good stuff as well. But I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know which guns you want me to cover next in another video for best class setups for Black Ops 2 multiplayer. But I've been Ali A. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you very soon.